Come on, Bear. I just moved the rest of my struggling peppers out onto the front porch of the greenhouse. And I'm going to pick the last of my struggling little radishes out of my kiddie pool before they start to bolt. My squash plant is dying to the squash bugs, which is cruddy but to be expected. Trusty sidekick. This video was supposed to be a garden tour, but it just came down here and literally opened the garden door to bring you guys in, and it started to sprinkle, and I checked the forecast, and what was a 20% chance of rain when I checked this morning is now a 60% chance of rain, and it looks like the bottom may fall out soon. So do you ever just have like in your mind to do something and you want it done a certain way, and like it's gonna be routine and it's gonna be like gloriously the same, and then you realize that sometimes it doesn't work out that way? Yeah, garden tours this year have been that for me. They've been definitely me trying to make them my idea of things, and then having to learn to just be patient and roll with the punches when that doesn't work out. On the bright side, the garden still grows. The garden does need the rain. Look at all these leaves curling. We fried our first okra yesterday, and look, already got another one that's big enough to pick. It wasn't really enough for like a side, but we had Meg and Ben here, and we had a little okra snack. There's another one. If you've never grown okra before, you have to check it like twice a day once it starts producing, because seriously, like you'll check it in the morning and you'll have pods that really aren't big enough to pick, and when you go back the next morning, they're too big to eat. It literally grows that fast. I harvest okra twice a day through the summer, and it's getting to be that time. This may be the worst year I've ever had with pests this early. June 3rd, literally walking through here, I just picked off multiple cucumber beetles, multiple squash bugs. I've already lost a squash plant to squash bugs. The aphids have been awful on the tomatoes. The caterpillars were terrible on the brassicas. And I do just organic approved pest control. So far, the only thing I've put on the garden was neem, and then I sprayed BT on the brassicas once. So yeah, like that helps, but you still have to kind of stay on top of everything, and it's been a lot. Obviously I did not stay up on top of the squash bugs because that plant died. I'm trying to check my other squash plants enough for squash bugs that they don't get carried away. I handpicked a lot off of these this morning. Look at that little baby squash. That is a Frulina rugosa. It's supposed to be like really light and warty looking. Also harvested my first garlic yesterday. They were still a little on the small side, so I'm going to give them some more time, but they're getting close. Check that out. Another snake skin. How often do snakes shed their skin? Do any of you know? I don't know a lot about snakes. Now, we already found one snake skin back in this corner, and then we found the little speckled king snake that I think that it had originally belonged to. But that snake skin is larger than the original we found, and it's also larger than the king snake. So I don't know if there's another one living back in this corner or what the deal is. I'm definitely kind of watching where I step, because friendly snakes are welcome in the garden. They're good pest control. However, they still freak me out a little bit, and I don't want to sneak up on one or have one kind of sneak up on me. Bear's over there living his best life, rolling around in the ground. The Malabar spinach is beginning to come up on this trellis. Glad to see that. We were supposed to get a lot of rain this week. Of course, there's flooding all over the place. We've not been directly affected. Thank you to all of you who have checked on us. We live on a ridge, so our house is really not in a lot of danger from flooding. However, the surrounding towns from here, people who live in floodplains, are definitely sandbagging their houses and getting ready for all the rain that's coming. From the last I heard, floodwaters are decreasing in Oklahoma, and the rivers that kind of feed down into Arkansas are decreasing. So hopefully this next wave of rain doesn't cause a lot of issues for our area. You can see that my plants are thirsty. Leaf curling is a big sign that it's time to water for tomato plants. That's just them showing that they're starting to get dry. I'm being asked a lot about our watering regiment. Now, different plants are going to have different needs. Things like cucumbers, they're thirsty. Watermelons and squash, you're going to see their leaves wilt quicker than things like tomatoes. Tomatoes have really deep roots. And so for me, what I do, since we do hand water our garden, we don't have irrigation. What I do is I really keep an eye on the forecast, and I try to, like today I would have watered. Well, actually, I would have watered last night. And as you can see, everything kind of needs it. Things are starting to curl. Nothing's wilting too bad, but if I were to move my mulch out of the way and feel the top inch or two of my soil, it's pretty dry. Usually I want to be able to dig down an inch or two and feel nice moist soil. I want to be able to feel that there's moisture in there, and now there's not. It's pretty dry. I knew that there was rain coming tonight, and so I didn't want to spend an hour and a half watering my garden today whenever we're about to get all of this rain this week. So I decided to go ahead and let it go. Nothing was on the brink of death. Nothing was like struggling. I was just noticing it was, you know, a little thirsty, and I decided that it could wait. There really is no like definitive answer to say water this often, water this much. That's really going to depend on where you live, how much rainfall you get. Depends on if you've got beds in the ground, if you've got raised beds. What I'm really trying to say is just look at your plants. Put your hands in the soil. See, are their leaves curling? Are they wilting? You'll be able to look at them and say, does this plant look healthy, or does it look like it's struggling? Same thing if you're watering too much. If you're out there watering every single day and your plants look like they're struggling, just back off a little bit. Like, it's probably too much. Just kind of be in tune with your garden and pay attention to what it's telling you. And that's a learning process, but you can figure it out. I was just about to move these rose bushes because I didn't feel like they were growing, and then all of a sudden they had like a major growth spurt, and now they're setting lots of buds, and this plant has shot up about 6 inches since I said I was going to move them. So I guess I'm going to give them a shot to earn their place here at the front of the garden. Let's go take a look at the kids' garden. First, let's say hi to Sweet Maya. Hey, baby.
It's sticky and messy.
Yeah. So Jeremiah's working on these beehives, getting them cleaned and getting ready to cycle them through the freezer.
All the frames are cleaned. I sent a picture to Katie to see if that was charred enough on the inside.
Yeah.
If she gives me the thumbs up, then I'll finish charring the insides and then put the frames in the freezer.
Did you see that you have an overseer of your work?
Oh, Kitten George. I had not noticed him until just now.
Look at him sitting up there in the light looking all majestic. Y'all actually don't see this room very much. See the spray paint? Our house was vandalized when we got it. So Maya's been working down here all day getting all of this ready. And we'll be getting our bees this next week. So here's the kids' garden. Tomato plants are coming on up. They've got a few weeds to pull, but looks like they've been staying on top of it pretty well. The beans are up. I'm gonna bring them down here and thin out their cucumbers and melons because we don't want those to be competing too hard, and that's too many on the trellises. But everything they sowed from seed came up, and everything else is getting good and big. Benjamin was very eager to prune, and he about cut this plant in half. I mean, just very little still connected, but it's doing okay. So just cover that up. It'll reroot along the stem and grow upwards, and we'll just Well, I'll let them do it. I'll teach them how to do it. Giving the kids their own garden also teaches mom how to give up control of things just like that. I mean, like, I look at that and I think, oh, I'll just pull those off. And I'm like, no, I need to teach them how to do that. So I'm just going to wait. And it's funny because I'm so used to taking care of my garden. So coming in here and spending 5 minutes pulling up the weeds and picking everything off. I mean, it's easy, it's simple, very simple task, but trying to teach them. So I'm showing you guys and I'm leaving everything alone. They even picked out their own little decoration, a butterfly for Grandma Jana. Benjamin saw this when we went to the store and wanted to spend his own money on it for his garden. So I thought that was really sweet. Depending on if we get a lot of rain this week, this space should be finished. We're gonna finish their little seating area and set up their table and chairs. And I'm actually gonna put a couple of potted plants in here, like with flowers. Let them put some, Ezra really wants some roses, so we're gonna put some roses in there and kind of make it like a space that they can really enjoy. That's something that's really important to me in my garden. And they've done a good job. They go in there and check on everything. I've been really proud of them. Hey ladies, you're not where you're supposed to be. Go home. I really wonder how long it's going to take me to get used to the fact that the landscape of our property has changed so much. Like, I'm still looking out the window and seeing how cleared it is and being like, oh yeah. It still like takes me by surprise. But I've looked out the window and seen trees for 5 years, so I don't know. I guess I'll get used to it, but it might take a minute. We meet again. Journey Pig got in my garden today and ate a potted plant. So I'm a little mad at her. Kind of feeling like we have a very toxic relationship with Journey Pig because she doesn't respect boundaries and she just does whatever she wants. Like, honestly, we're probably gonna have to build her a little pen, not too small, but where she can actually be contained with some sort of pig fencing and possibly an electric wire, because like up until this point it's just been kind of like whatever. She's kind of been going into different yards and getting into stuff, but she really did go knock over some potted plants today and eat some things that I did not want eaten by her. And so I was genuinely kind of fussy at her. And Jeremiah chased her out of the garden and she was squawking the whole time and little stinker. Hey little girl. Y'all, isn't Gretchen Wiener's like the cutest little thing? Like, how much smaller she is than the baby goats. They're like a couple months old and she's tinier than them. I just love her. Nothing will make you feel as popular as a herd of animals at feeding time. Christopher Walken, don't worry, your food's coming. We bought Christopher Walken a cowbell. It's in there on the counter. Just have to bring it out here and put it on his collar. Could you get some food? Big girl. Hey Ben, is that how you play in the pool? What about you, Toby? Is that how you play in the pool?
No, I play like a shark.
Oh. I hear the farm right before feeding time. They're singing the song of their people. But not you, huh, trusty sidekick? Hey, Shadow Dog. Little bear. It never did start raining heavy. I probably could have shut a garden door, but it is what it is. We did this instead. It's alright. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. God bless you. Until next time.